Hey y'all, my name is Carter Crowley and I am owner of CB Home Solutions. In this specific video, we are going to be going over what happens when you decide to list your property for sale. What are the steps in the process? What's going to happen throughout the process? What may you experience? What may you not experience? What can you expect? And ultimately, what are the costs associated with it? So we will dive into that here in just a second. But if you have any questions on this particular scenario, of course, feel free to reach out to me. You probably have my email address, my phone number, any of my contact information. So please don't hesitate to reach out with questions. But let me share my screen with you. This is 100% live or 100% live recording. I'm not clicking or editing any of this, as you can probably tell. Let me just find, I don't know why this isn't pulling up. Give me a second. Okay, perfect. So hopefully all of you can see this. This is just my notes tab. So listed property for sale. What is the process like? Let's go over timeline first. And I'm just going to go right down through this list so it's easy to associate with and you can kind of figure things out along the way. So a timeline for listing your property. Generally speaking, the timeline for listing it on the market can be fairly quick. Now, when you say, hey, Carter, I want to list my property for sale, if you decide to list it with us, of course, we can offer you the discounted rate like I probably already discussed. But if you decide to go another route, then you can just end up going that route. The timeline is typically always the same. So timeline, you say you want to list the property. Generally speaking, the next step that I have is I reach out to my photographer to see what their schedule is like for scheduling photos and taking photographs of the property. Upon them going out, generally 24 hours later, they will have the photos back to me. Now, simultaneous to doing that, at the same time, I will be talking with you and we will be signing the listing documents, all the paperwork. And that will allow us to put it on the market upon receiving the photos back. So this can be done in as little as 3 to 7 days. It depends on the photographer's schedule in most cases, because that's what we are waiting on 9 times out of 10. Because for me to draft up the documents, it takes 20, 30, 40 minutes to have you sign them, maybe another 20, 30 minutes at the very most. And that's probably overestimating, but it gives you a general rule of thumb. So I would say 3 days to 10 days for timeline. Now, the steps in the process, I pretty much walked through photographer, paperwork, listing it for sale, and then showings happen. Upon showings happening, you typically get an offer afterwards, shortly afterwards, ideally, and then you can either accept or reject the offer, and then things go on. But that's generally what to expect on that side of things. Now, throughout the listing process or having the house on the market, you will have showings on the property. Most owners or most realtors who show your property will provide feedback through an automated showing time form. This just goes out to their email. They click and fill it out. It's all automated. Now, some realtors do not like filling that out. They never give you feedback. Whatever you try, you can reach out to them, text them, call them. They never fill it out. They're lazy. So be it. Now, the ones who do fill it out, they're going to give you their opinion. I would not take this as set in stone fact, because they might say the house is overpriced, the house needs remodeling, the house doesn't fit the buyer's criteria, the house isn't what the buyers imagined, they don't like the area, they don't like the square footage, it's too small, miscellaneous stuff that they probably should have known prior to scheduling the showing. But realtors are the ones filling this out, the buyers are not filling it out. So again, take it with a grain of salt. It's not 100% the truth, because you could have one agent think the house is way overpriced, the next agent comes in, you sell the house for top dollar. And then along with that, expectations. So personally, when I list properties, we do not hold open houses. Open houses do not sell properties. It will sell 9 times out of 10 through individual showings. And at the discounted rate, it comes with that caveat. The only thing that we do not do is open houses, just because of the lack of time available in our schedules. But we will still present offers on weekends. We still will present you with all these different things, professional photography, professional marketing. Everything is covered. besides open houses. So I just want to be transparent there. And if the house needs remodeling work, do you really want all the neighbors and people seeing it? Maybe, maybe not. But let's go into this best practices. I always recommend having the house cleaned out, prepared, cleaned, ready, have all the junk disposed of, any miscellaneous belongings gotten rid of, because the next buyer will not want to inherit your junk. That's just the facts of the situation. And then pricing recommendations. If the house needs remodeling, price it effectively. If the house does not need remodeling, still price it effectively. You don't want to overprice something because then it sits on the market. And as you know, we purchase and sell a lot of real estate. The last thing we want to do is sit on a property, because the longer it sits on the market, the more people think something's wrong with it, and the lesser that you will receive when it comes to offers. If a house has been on the market 90 days, the chance that you're going to receive a lower offer is a lot higher than if the house has been on the market 9 days. It just is what it is there, because more people think there is less interest. Now, when you're showing the property, if you are occupying it, you will have to leave. If there's tenants in there, we can work around the tenant schedules. I coordinate that all with them. You are hands off. You don't have to deal with any of that on your side, which is very, very convenient. Now, going into when you're showing the property, obviously you'll eventually get an offer. Offers can have contingencies. These contingencies can be for getting a loan financing, having a home inspection. Even if it's an as-is sale, a buyer can still ask for a home inspection. There's nothing that states that you have to fix anything, but they can still ask for one. Appraisals is just if a loan is being received or if a loan is being granted, an appraiser will have to come into the property and verify the property, adjust for value on the property, and make sure that it is worth what the buyer is agreeing to pay. And then if someone wants to inspect the well or septic system, or if they want to test for radon gas in the basement or lower level. These are all different contingencies that can be wrapped up in a home offer, but most of them are standard. I would say the most standard ones are financing, inspections, and appraisals. Unless you have a rural property, then you will have a well and septic inspection. Now, how are you paid? Like, just so we can keep this video on the shorter side. So upon the house selling, you will be paid your money. Like, generally speaking, let's see if I can get a pen and paper. So you have a home sale. Let's say this house sells for $100,000. Should have probably wrote this out beforehand. So if the house sells for $100,000, then taken off that price is the realtor commission, the total net commission, any closing costs or title fees, any repairs that are requested, any closing costs that you're willing to pay for the buyers, anything like that. So generally it amounts in 5, 6, 7% less than this offer to purchase price. Now, the difference between us purchasing your property and us listing your property are these miscellaneous fees and expenses. That is one of the benefits to going the as-is sale route. But still, even after all these expenses, you will most likely net more money putting the house on the market, just because there's thousands and thousands of more eyes seeing the place. But there's trade-offs. Again, you have the contingencies, you have the miscellaneous stuff that has to happen. You have to clean out the place prior to listing, so on and so forth. There's all these different things. But realtors will get paid at this time. Lenders, banks will get the mortgage payoff at this time, so you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. The title company will take care of all that. And this can generally take 30 to 45 days unless it's a cash sale. Then it'll happen quicker. But a normal finance transaction takes about 30 to 45 days before you are paid. And if you're in the process of buying another house, we will be able to do this simultaneously. It is a little bit more difficult, but we can work the system and accommodate whatever needs that you have in the next purchase or in the next sale of the property. So if you have any questions, excuse me, let me stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, like I had mentioned previously, when we list your property through the company, through the brokerage, we are able to offer discounted commissions. And the main reason being is we are able to subsidize our income with the investments that we're making. We don't focus 100% on listing properties. We don't focus 100% on purchasing properties. We have rental income. We have properties that we're buying and reselling. We have the listing property income. So we are able to have an even balance of all of it. And we're able to offer you a discounted listing rate that most brokerages cannot match. And you're still getting the professional photos, the full service brokerage, everything and anything in between. So if we can do anything to help, of course, please feel free to reach out. I look forward to having a conversation soon. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll be able to do business together in the near future.